You probably can't see me very well. Today is Monday, the 13th of October, 2025. And it's my baby sister's birthday. And we were going to go out for the day to celebrate. But because I was sectioned 21 by my landlord last week, I have got to use today now to sort out all my paperwork for the DWP. It wouldn't be my video without a yawn. And also for the support worker that I am hopefully going to have represent me and support me, that is coming tomorrow. So I don't really know much about that, to be honest, and I have done everything that I can do so far with regards to, contacting my local council, etc., to see what help and support and guidance I can get at. But I'm just glad in a way that I didn't pay or arrange anything officially for her because, with the cost of living and everything going up, people can't afford to just flit her money away. And then today I've heard the most saddest thing ever. There is this amazing woman called Chloe. Hopefully I've read her name right on social media. And I've actually had the privilege to meet her twice in person. She performed in Coventry City Centre, and then she also performed in my hometown, Nuneaton, earlier this year. And whilst busking in Tamworth, she had her van stolen with all of her stuff in. Luckily, it didn't have her piano in because she was performing in Tamworth at the time. But I just think it's absolutely disgusting that for this to happen to anyone. That they're trying to make a living and people are just, stealing from them. I mean, I've got a feeling that whoever's done this, it's my own opinion, was obviously stalking her. And, because she put on social media where she was going to be touring, when she was going to be touring, and the dates. And I've got a feeling that this has been done by, an arranged sort of gang of thieves, because they would have known that she was going to be in Tamworth. They would have known that she was going to be performing. And this is the risk that a lot of performers or people, if you don't have a fixed place that you work because you are self-employed, run the risk of having. And I've worked with photographers, I've worked with people in the media industry before who have said that people have conned them, said, hey, I want to have a photo shoot, and then they've had the shit kicked out of them and had all the camera equipment stolen. Or I've had it where models have gone for a photo shoot and they've been sexually assaulted. You wouldn't think that people would have to worry about this kind of stuff, but unfortunately they do. And this poor young lady, who is absolutely amazing, had all of her stuff stolen in Tamworth. There is a GoFundMe page for her on social media, and the feedback and all the positive feedback that she's had so far is absolutely inspirational. And people just haven't said, oh, I'm sorry to hear what happened to you. They've actually been putting their money where their mouth is. So she has managed to have people donate in a grand total so far of over £2,000. But although that money will obviously help her buy a new vehicle and buy new stuff, it's not going to replace all of her personal belongings and things that she's lost. And that is what is so sad, for anyone to have to sort of, endure that, no matter what their circumstances is, when, you lose those personal possessions. But like I said, I think this was an orchestrated crime. They knew where she was going to be. They saw where she parked her vehicle and they took their opportunity and they stole it. But what I can't understand is why, if it was stolen, a lot of the places now in and around major city centres, they have that thing where they're able, I don't know what it's called, I always forget what it's called, where they're able to read your license plate. So surely the police must have been able to have, once she notified them, to have checked the CCTV footage at the place that she parked her van, and then, had some kind of form of traceability or some idea potentially as to what the perpetrators look like. But I'm not the police, and obviously this poor young woman has had to deal with this by herself because she's not even local to the area. She is doing a tour of the UK. And luckily, she's had so much support, and I'm so relieved that's happened, which kind of puts my situation, like if it was on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the most worst thing that could happen to you, hers would be a 1. I would feel, to be honest, today, mine's a 10. I'm still in the property that I have been Section 21 in. You can see that I'm still in bed with my little boy in the same room. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, there's no words really to describe how one feels or how one should feel when something like this happens. And I loved working in the art and media industry. I mean, I did it for as long as I could before I had my children. And it just got to the point where it just wasn't feasible or cost effective for me to do it anymore, because I just wasn't making enough money. And people were always comparing prices, like they always do it with people who are self-employed, and especially in the art and media industry. Oh, why are you charging this much for this photo or this much for something you've handmade? I can get it cheaper in Poundland. I can get it cheaper on eBay or Amazon. Yeah, that's because it's been made by and manufactured in a foreign country where people aren't subjected to the same cost of living as we are in the UK. And, my heart just goes out so much to people that are still trying to make it, and to survive in any form of industry at the moment, because unfortunately, living in the UK at the moment is just absolutely insane. They keep putting the cost of saying, oh, this is how much we're going to pay you, or this is how much, you should not be paid any less than the following for the cost of living payments and all that. But the moment your wages go up, because most people don't want to pay over national minimum wage or the living wage, your rent goes up, or everything in the economy goes up. So that extra £1 or 50p that you're getting in your wage packet isn't worth anything at that point, because the moment you've got it, you've had to spend it again. So yeah, at the moment I feel like, the way I've been treated is a 10. And the way that this poor, amazing young girl's been treated, who's still trying, to support herself, is definitely a 1. So I'll add a link, if obviously I'm hoping that YouTube won't remove it, to her GoFundMe page if possible. And if you do want to help and support her in any way possible, I mean, I'm more than happy to donate food, donate clothes. I never donate money, because I don't really have any. But, if anyone can help or support her on her tour for the rest of the year, that'd be amazing. Even if somebody has a company that does van hire, and they could maybe, say to her, you know what, hire my van for the rest of the year, because it's free advertising. And, and something like that would be really beneficial to her. So I am going to contact her and say, I know at the moment you're probably not thinking about it, but if you do need any costumes or anything, tell me what you need and I'll see if I've got any. But the problem is she's so thin and absolutely beautiful. My clothes would probably drown her, but anyone with a sewing machine could quite easily, maybe adjust them. Or even now at the moment, some of the charity shops clothes are like £1. So I've seen what she wears. It varies throughout the year. Sometimes it's steampunk, sometimes it's quite ethereal. So I'm hoping I'll have something for her that I could potentially donate. But at the moment, I think her main focus is, you know, trying to get the cost so that she can buy a new van, hopefully get home, and hopefully, you know, continue her tour, if not later on in the year, again in the new year. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at there, but I will put this online as soon as possible. And like I said, I will try to share a link to her GoFundMe page. Thank you, and take care of you, everyone. And take care of those you love.